you don't know whether to buy, rent or sell your home or have any other questions about the property market, our property expert Luke Doonan can help. Are there any sort of burning issues out there that people might need to ring him in?
We've still got lots of doom mongers out there saying that things are still going down. They're not. Mortgage approvals are going up monthly, and it's, in my opinion, being positive, it's going in the right direction. But I think there's still a lot of people out there that are very confused as to what to do, whether to buy now, whether to rent. So really, an all-rounder, anything to do with the property market, buying, selling,
one of the good
renting.
questions, you may already be a homeowner and you're sitting there, is there anything I can capitalise on at the moment? Low interest rates, is it worth stretching myself, putting my house on the market?
Yeah.
It's a fascinating time. Now, over the last 3 months, your average estate agent has sold 17 properties, which we reckon would earn something like £76,000 in commission. And mind you, in the good times, they'd have sold 22 houses over a similar period. Now then, if you don't know whether to buy, rent or sell your home, or you've got any other property-based questions, this man, Luke Doonan, can help. 18 years he's been in the bricks and mortar game, enjoying the good times, as well as weathering the storms. And it's 0207 173 5555, the usual number, if you'd like to benefit from his pearls of wisdom. I've got a few questions I'd like to fire at you. Where are we at the moment in the market? Up or down? I mean, there's all kinds of different stories. One I read, mortgage approvals at the highest rate for 18 months.
They are. Mortgage approvals now are about 50% up on where we were from July 2008. So I wouldn't say we're bouncing back, but we're slowly climbing back. The problem is that the mortgage companies are still being incredibly greedy, trying to get their balance sheets back on form.
Interest rates are low, but mortgage rates are significantly
higher. Yeah, they're being
higher.
really naughty, as usual. But even so...
Naughty enough for the government to intervene, do you think?
Will the government? Probably not.
On the track with everyone, no. They just take our money.
I wish they would, but probably not. I'm really surprised, though, that I'm quite surprised that the housing market has come back so well, in my opinion.
With it talking about the recession generally, there are a lot of city pundits saying, oh, well, it might be a double-dip recession, that we're just coming out of the first trough, a little mini peak, but don't say it's all over because there's another trough coming. Could the same happen in property?
I don't see a whole, across the board UK dip, but there are areas that are rising quite fast, there's areas that are staying the same, and there's areas that are falling because of probably new build oversupply. So I'm not sitting here saying it's all going to be amazing and we're all going to see the growth. I think the overall housing market now, I think we're all going to be, a lot of us have really learned our lessons, so I think we're going to be a lot more sensible about how we buy and sell.
Okay, one more question for me. It was a story, I think, in The Independent this week. These rent-to-buy schemes, sort of half mortgage, half rent. Yeah. Are they any good? Who should you get one from?
The government ones are good. There's a website which is www.housingoptions.co.uk. The others haven't really had time to be tried and tested, so I would go down the government route at the Housing Options website, who will put you in touch with people in your area. They're quite efficient.
And what kind of income would you need? I suppose it depends on where you live.
And you can join if you have an income under £60,000 a year.
Family income?
Yeah. And anyone should be eligible. You have to have quite a good credit history, though. That's one thing that people are finding quite difficult.
OK, let's throw it open to you guys. Kirsty, who's on the phone first, please?
We have Michelle on line 4.
Morning, Michelle.
Hi.
Hi there.
Basically, myself and my partner are both self-employed.
Right.
I recently got made redundant this year and set up my own cleaning company. My partner owns an estate agent. And has done for 3 years now. And we're getting married next year in March, and we're hoping to buy somewhere. And we're finding it difficult to get somebody to lend to us because obviously we're both self-employed.
OK.
You both sound very industrious, so that's good, starting with estate agents in this market. My advice would be probably to try the Housing Option website as a starting place. And I think lots of self-employed people find it incredibly hard.
What is this Housing Option? What is this Housing Option website?
Basically, lots of developers over the past 18 months, because they couldn't sell their properties, they've signed up with the government under a government scheme, so it's all should be organised and above board, to give people either a free trial of up to 3 years of renting a property with the option to buy it, or part rent it and part buy it gradually. So effectively you buy a share, you pay a small part of the rent, and then as you can afford it, you buy more until you own the whole thing.
Is two self-employed people going to pose a problem for...
They may not, but what I would do is I'd probably get a mortgage broker to put your case forward for you to a mortgage company, and then go and start looking for property. I think it's really important.
Because the mortgage companies will listen to a mortgage broker more readily than an individual.
And they will know how to put the case forward, because if you just go and say, I'm self-employed, you may not have proper accounts yet. It's best to get a mortgage broker, a good mortgage broker. If you don't know of one, just visit my website, and then I can put you in touch with someone who's good. OK, there we go. Good luck to you, Michelle. Kirsty?
We have Joan, and she's on line 1.
Morning, Joan.
Good morning, Matthew.
What's
Good morning, Luke.
Good morning.
What's your question then, Joan?
I'm 75 and sadly recently widowed, and so I'm considering possibly selling maybe next year when I've got over things a little bit.
Yeah.
And I thought it would be a good idea to sell and then perhaps rent at my age. It would perhaps give me some freedom to move nearer the family, etc. But I'm not sure what the pitfalls are with renting. People say it's not very safe.
Joan, can I ask roughly what you're going to expect to get for your house when you sell it?
I would think at the present time between about 180 to 200,000.
Okay, Lou.
Not enormous, but not bad.
Not bad, no.
Obviously, I'm really sorry to hear about your recent loss, and you're probably feeling quite sensitive. So firstly, I definitely wouldn't rush into anything.
Good advice.
Because in your situation, you may just feel like you might want to get out of the house. What's the reason? You need an income, do you?
No, I don't need an income.
Okay.
I'm very lucky. I've got a reasonable pension.
Okay, do you have family?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I do.
I mean, I'll be really blunt. To be honest, at your age, I would if it was me, I would probably advise you to stay in your family home, as long as you have arrangements with your family as to what's going to happen to the property. I would probably not advise at all that you rent privately, because there are lots of pitfalls, and unless you do it correctly and maybe going to a retirement home or going to specialised housing, that may be an option. But if you can stay in your home and not have the upheaval...
If she wants to move to be closer to her family, are you saying that she would be better off buying another house?
Yeah, maybe something smaller. Depends where your family is. Whereabouts are your family?
In Derbyshire, and I'm in Cheshire.
Okay.
I do go over several times, but I think it would be quite nice to be a little nearer.
Sure. I mean, it may be an idea. The great thing is you obviously have family that will probably be able to look after you and be there for you. I would probably look at buying something smaller and buying again and not renting, to be honest. I've seen lots of nightmare stories with people of a certain age that try and rent, and it's never the same as owning, and lots of problems with landlords, and it's not really that permanent. You know, if the landlord decides to sell or that kind of thing, it can be quite troublesome and heartbreaking, to be honest.
Okay. Joan, I'm going to keep my fingers crossed for you. I think the first thing Luke said is probably the most important. Take your time. And we'll wrap up, Kirsty, with an email.
We don't have an email at the moment, but we've got a call, one last call from Rachel.
I'll tell you what, the email I was told we were going to have is all about areas to buy for investment.
Everyone asks me about
Right,
all
I bet
the
they
time.
do, I bet they do.
Can't tell you, I'm afraid.
Oh, come on.
Anywhere with good transport. I mean, it's that old thing, location, location, location. I'd say anywhere, let's say your dream is to live in Islington. Everyone that couldn't afford Islington has moved to Hackney. They're now going out to Bow. So people are being, in my opinion, very snobby about where they live. I think we all need a bit of a reality check and look at areas that are just slightly out, where you'll get probably a much bigger property and long-term appreciation. If we look at, say, Islington, I was reading a study on Islington the other day. 15 years ago, nobody wanted to live there.
Right,
now it's the hub. So
extraordinary, isn't it? Okay, thank you. That is all we've got time for today. Many thanks for all your calls, and big thumbs up to this guy. Great advice as always, Luke. Although if you could name some areas where we could invest, we'd probably all be a lot happier. Thank you.